Hello and welcome to the Kennel Connection webinar on reports for the boarding module. In this training video, we will be going through the reports available for the boarding module, explaining what each report does, and in some cases running the report to demonstrate how they will appear. When running reports for a specific module, you will often need to have that module schedule open, as some reports gather information from the day showing on the schedule. So in this case, we have our boarding schedule open on the screen to the current day. Then we go to the Reports tab at the top of Kennel Connection and go to the Boarding section. Here you'll find a list of all the boarding-specific reports available in Kennel Connection. If we look to the right in the Reports ribbon, we'll see that we have a Board Frequent Reports section where you can access some of the more popular reports without having to go through the Reports menu. For simplicity's sake, we'll be going to the Reports tab, to the Boarding section of reports, and going down the list that appears when selecting boarding. First, we have the Belongings report. When creating reservations in Kennel Connection, you have the option to add belongings to a pet reservation by right-clicking on the pet, and from the drop-down menu selecting Belongings. Then entering the belongings into the belongings screen that pops up. While there are options in Kennel Connection that will have the belongings screen pop up upon checkout of the reservation, you can also go to the boarding reports and print out any belongings for the day showing on the schedule. When running the report, this will print out a list of all belongings for all pets that are scheduled to check out on the day showing on the schedule. Next, we have the blank contract option. This allows you to print out a blank boarding contract. Then we have the option to run a boarding client package expiration, and a little below that we have boarding pet package expiration. In Kennel Connection, you have the option to set expiration dates for boarding, daycare, grooming, or other packages that are created in the system. When running the boarding client or boarding pet package expiration report, you will choose the date range, and then the resulting report will give you a list of all packages that have expiration dates that fall within that date range. Next, there is the boarding grade report. If you go to the pet card of any pet in Kennel Connection and go to the boarding tab, you'll find in the lower left-hand corner that you can assign a boarding grade to indicate how well this pet behaves while boarding. Once a grade is entered there, you can access it on the card, and we can also run the boarding grade report to give us a list of all pets for that day in the schedule and what their boarding grade is. Next, we have the option to print the boarding log. The boarding log can be printed from the report section here. You can also print a boarding log by going to the boarding schedule and clicking the print option. Clicking print on the boarding schedule will print out the boarding log with arrivals and departures both showing for the day showing on the schedule. By going to the report section, however, we have the option to run the report just for arrivals or departures, or both. You'll also notice that the arrivals and departures boarding log will also differentiate single day stays or daycares on the boarding schedule if their arrival and departure is the same day. In addition to the client and pet package expiration reports, we have a boarding package days left. Running this report will give a list of all pets or clients with boarding packages and show how many days they have left on those packages. Whereas we had the option to print a blank boarding contract above, we can also print out contracts for currently boarding pets from here. As with many of these reports, we'll have the option to print the contract for just the pet selected on the boarding schedule, for all incoming pets, all outgoing pets, or all pets showing on the schedule for this date. You will also notice that some of the reports have the option to not only print to screen or your printer, but to send emails to customers, and in some cases to save an electronic copy. When creating reservations in Kennel Connection, one of the options you have for boarding is to mark the pet for a pickup or delivery service. Marking the pet for pickup or delivery will result in color coding on the schedule, and you can then also run the delivery or pickup report. And for the pickup report, we can also choose to print one customer per page or just in a list. And running the report will list all pets scheduled for the delivery or pickup on the day showing on the schedule. When creating boarding appointments, we have the option to add a departure service. This is a grooming appointment that occurs typically on the last day of the stay. And when creating this departure service grooming through the boarding appointment, it becomes linked to that boarding appointment as a departure service. You can then go to the boarding section of reports and run a departure service list of all pets scheduled for departure services on the day showing on the boarding schedule. Next, we have the elimination report. This is a report that you can run for your kennel supervisors that will provide a list of all pets on the schedule for this day. This eliminations report allows you to keep track of your boarding pets eliminations, including any concerns regarding content or frequency. Boarding reservations in Kennel Connection offer the ability to schedule exercises, feedings, and medications, as well as other services, and schedules for these services can be run from the boarding report section. Here we have the exercise schedule, the feeding schedule, and the medication schedule. Selecting any of these will bring up the services schedule report. The type of service we selected to run a report for is automatically checked here, but if we want, we can combine services in our schedule. We can also choose which period of the day. We can choose to run it for all pets or only pets that have been checked in. We can also include pets on the schedule that have no services scheduled. The primary reason for this is, say on the medical schedule, you can list all pets that have no medications scheduled in the system, allowing for that pet to be recognized on the off chance that a medication that was provided for the pet was inadvertently not scheduled when the reservation was created. We can also choose to print for all modules, not just the boarding module. And if we're printing the exercise report, we can even choose a specific exercise. For demonstration purposes, I'm just going to print the medication report, and I'm going to include pets that don't have a medication scheduled. The printed schedule report will list all pets in the system based on the criteria you chose, indicating the specific service, the quantity, where the pet currently is located, and what time of the day the service is to be performed. Below the exercise schedule, we have the exercise timings report. When pets have an exercise scheduled for them on their boarding reservation, you have the option, but when right-clicking on the reservation on the boarding schedule, to check the pet out and in for exercises. This not only allows you to indicate on the schedule that a pet is currently out of the facility for that exercise, and then indicating when the pet has been returned, you also have the option under the Services tab in the Exercise tab to print the timings report or examine the timings of when the pet was checked out and in for exercises. By going to the boarding section in the report section, we can print exercise timings for the entire day for a list of all pets that have been exercised and when they were checked out and in. First-time boarders is kind of self-explanatory. This report will give you a list of all pets on the schedule for this day that are boarding with your facility for the first time. Below that, we have kennel cards. Kennel cards can be printed in the system from the schedule by right-clicking on the reservation and selecting Kennel Card, or you can do it from the boarding section of the report section. In either case, you'll have the option to change the size of the kennel card and whether to print it for the individual pet currently selected on the schedule or for all pets ingoing, outgoing, or on the schedule at this date. Next, we have the labels option. This labels option is for boarding reminders. Clicking on that option, first it'll prompt us to ensure that we have the proper Avery label or equivalent in the printer. Then, choosing a date range, the label option will print mailing labels for all pets on the schedule that have a boarding arrival date within that time frame. Next, we have the monthly report, which will give us a list of all boardings for the month selected in either a summary or detailed format. When running the detailed monthly report, you'll get a list of all pets boarding each day for the month selected. The summary will only give you the total pets booking on any given day of that month. The Move Pet Report will provide you with a list of all pets that need to be moved from one location to another if you have pets moving from run to run in order to maximize your occupancy during busier seasons. If you are using the no-show processor in Kennel Connection, the no-shows report will give you a list of all no-shows occurring within the date range selected. If you are using the NRA or No Runs Available option in Kennel Connection, you can run an NRA list, which will show you all pets currently boarding in an NRA run on the schedule. Then we have the Occupancy Reports. Occupancy Reports and the occupancy totals you will find at the bottom of your boarding schedule are affected by the occupancy settings in the System Options section under the Boarding tab. There we have options that will indicate to Kennel Connection whether or not to count pets that have checked in or not checked in or have left in occupancy totals. The occupancy reports available include current statistics, roll call, run availability, run summary, and year-over-year comparison statistics. Current statistics, based on the date range selected, will show the number of occupants on each calendar day and will even include a flow chart at the top to track your occupancy throughout that time period. Roll call will print a list of all pets on the schedule for that day. Run availability will print you a list of all runs currently vacant. The run summary will print you a list of all runs currently occupied. And the year-over-year comparison statistics will do just that. It will give you statistics for the date range you choose and compare it to statistics from the previous year. And if you choose a date range that is within 30 days, it will also include a chart mapping the difference in occupancies between the dates of this year and the previous year. The Past Boarded Pets report will provide you a list of all pets that have boarded previously based on the date range selected. And you can sort by end date or last name. You can also select a specific customer if you only want the boarding history of the pets belonging to that specific customer. Next is the Pet Warnings report. In Kennel Connection, you have the option to add pet warnings to pets to indicate if there is anything that employees should be alerted to regarding this pet. These alerts appear when reservations are created in the system, but you can also print the warnings out ahead of time for employee reference. Running the report will give the warnings for all pets on the schedule that have warnings. Next, we have the Pet Services schedule. This report prints services scheduled for the pets in a grid that allows you to check off each service or add notes for a week from the date showing on the schedule. Then we have reminder cards / emails. This gives us the option to print out cards or send emails to remind customers that they have an upcoming boarding scheduled. When selecting the boarding reminders report, we once again have the option to choose the print to screen, the printer, or to email directly to the customers. Choosing the date range or the specific day, we then choose one of the preset notes from the list section to add additional text to the boarding information included in the reminder. Next, we have another option to print items that we can access by going to the schedule and right-clicking on a pet. The boarding module gives us the option to create a report card for each pet, indicating specific activities, behaviors, or appearances, and these reports for boarding can be entered for each individual day or for the duration of the stay. These report cards, once saved, can be accessed on the pet card, and if we go to the boarding section of the reports section, we can print report cards for all pets on the schedule for the day showing. Next, we have the reservation confirmation report. When creating a boarding reservation, we have the option to mark a reservation as confirmed by the customer. If you make a habit of marking reservations as confirmed, you can then run the boarding report for reservation confirmations that will list all pets confirmed for the reservations in the date range selected. Pets not confirmed will also be listed with the option to check them off as confirmed if you're using this as a call list, and will also give you basic information regarding the pet's stay and alerts if the pet has expired vaccinations. Next, we have the option to print schedule notes, booking, exercise, feeding, or medication notes. This is another option that we have on the boarding schedule. When right-clicking on a reservation, we can choose to enter feeding, exercise, medication, or booking notes. These notes can be accessed from the reservation by right-clicking it on the schedule, or we can print all the notes out for the day from the boarding report section. Next, there's the special needs report. Once again, if we open up a reservation on the boarding schedule, we have the option to enter special instructions on the reservation itself. These special instructions can be accessed on the kennel card by opening up the reservation, or if we go to the boarding report section, we can print a list of all special needs for all pets on the schedule day showing. Finally, at the bottom of the boarding report section, we have total days boarded. Choosing the date range, we have the option to select a specific customer or a segment of customers based on the beginning letter of their last name, and we can print for total based on individual days or entire visits. The resulting report will list all days boarded for the pets based on the criteria chosen when running it. That's it for the Kennel Connection training video on boarding reports. We've gone over all the basic reports available in Kennel Connection for the boarding schedule to keep track of your boarding pets, their needs, their scheduled services, and a variety of other data. Please be sure to check out other training videos regarding the different categories available in the report section, and other training videos I would recommend that will overlap with items discussed in this training video would include the training video on the Business Info, System Options, and List section, and the one on creating and managing appointments. If you have any additional training questions regarding the topics discussed in this video or other training needs, please feel free to contact the training department at Blue Crystal Software. You can call at 888-486-4343, extension 307, or you can email at training@bluecrystalsoftware.com.